Hey there, everybody. It's me, your boy, and I can't believe it. I'm in shock and awe, honestly. It's that time of year again. List week. Today, it all starts. Now, just in case you're new here, list week is a thing that I do every single year near the end of the year. Would you take a look at that? It's near the end of the year. During list week, I'll be posting the normal survival series videos and only list videos, like this one right here where we talk about something, and it's kind of like, a list. Today's list has to do with 1.18. Of course, the latest update is pretty cool, but if you've been watching streamers or YouTubers play the update, and they're on different versions of the game, there might be some differences. Today we'll be talking all about version differences, Java 1.18 versus Bedrock 1.18. Keep track of how many you knew at the end of the video, drop that number down in the comments. Bonus points if you can think of another version difference. Destroy Like December will continue all the way throughout list week, don't forget about it. Enjoy the video. Amplified worlds are basically like the coolest thing you will ever experience. They're like insane. They make no sense at all. For a while in the 1.18 development cycle, it wasn't looking too good for Amplified worlds. Thankfully, by the time the full update released, Amplified made it. However, Amplified only made it over to Java Edition. Our first 1.18 version exclusive today is Amplified worlds. They're insane, they're crazy, they're really cool, and unfortunately, Bedrock does not get to experience them. When they added these things back into the snapshots, I was really hoping that Bedrock would maybe be able to get these by the time 1.18 drops, but nope, didn't happen, and didn't happen in any of the following updates after 1.18 either. It's not clear if Amplified Worlds will ever actually make it to Bedrock. That's sad. It's also not clear if Amplified Worlds would even be able to load on Bedrock. Obviously, 1.18 completely reshaped the underground. The caves are bigger, the ground is deeper, everything about it is completely different. No matter what version of the game you're playing, once you reach about Y0, the caves change. They turn from stone to deep slate. In other words, they look so much better. But did you know the deep slate actually takes over at different levels, at least before the Bedrock 1.18.10 update? On Java, deep slate starts fading in at about Y8 and takes over completely by Y0. On Bedrock, it starts at Y0 and takes over completely by -8. Now, in the grand scheme of things, this isn't the biggest deal, but it is going to mean that things like Deep Slate Coal over on Bedrock Edition are going to be way more rare. Other than the texture, the block is literally the exact same thing as normal coal, but if you're into collecting all of the blocks on the game, it will be a little bit trickier on Bedrock. Our third 1.18 difference is a Bedrock exclusive, and I'm highly jealous of it. So to check it out, we have to go over to Bedrock Edition. Bedrock does things a little bit different. On Java, there are snapshots. On Bedrock, there are betas. Inside of the betas, there are different toggles. Now, I'm not really going to count these toggles because, I mean, it's just like a completely different system. But there is a new toggle. Java doesn't have it. The Wild Update toggle. On Bedrock, if we were to create a world with that toggle turned on, slide into the creative menu, search Skulk, we're going to find blocks that are completely non-existent over on Java Edition. These are the new Skulk blocks. Now, the Skulk blocks are going to be in 1.19 on both versions of the game, but right now, in 1.18, if you want them, only over on Bedrock. More specifically, only over on Bedrock inside of the betas. The blocks are really cool. The Skulk Sensor, the Skulk Catalyst, the Skulk Vein, and the Skulk Block. I have a different list coming later this week where we'll talk about these a little bit more, so that's going to be it for today. They're only on Bedrock 1.18. World loading. I mean, yeah, it's kind of an important thing if you're going to play this game. You kind of probably want the world to load in. Java 1.18 comes with a couple brand new settings for loading worlds. Shockingly, you'll be able to find these new settings inside of the settings menu. They're meant to help improve performance. Here's one of them right here: chunk builder threaded, semi-blocking, or fully blocking. Options like these, completely non-existent on Bedrock Edition. Over here, the simulation distance toggle, this is new as well. However, this does exist on Bedrock. One of the biggest parts of 1.18 was reworking how mob spawning works. It actually makes sense now. You'll need complete darkness for hostile mobs to spawn on both versions of the game. On Java Edition, enchanting tables are now bright for the first time ever. This is something that was already on Bedrock before 1.18. They give off a light level 7. Honestly, I'm still not over this next one, and I don't think I ever will be. It's really sad to me. Number 6, Bedrock 1.18, patrols. They got nerfed. Before 1.18 on Bedrock, patrols could actually... They could actually spawn with Vindicators, which is like kind of insane. These are really tough, but yeah, really cool. I like it. I like difficulty in the game. Bedrock 1.18 removes Vindicators from all patrols. They will never be in patrols anymore. The patrol will always just be these guys, which I guess is easier, maybe better early game, but like, come on, like... Back in the development of 1.14, this is how it worked in the Java snapshots as well. I always had this dream of this feature coming back over to Java. Would have been really cool, but now all of my dreams have been crushed, so thanks, King B-Dogs. A bit after the release of the 1.18 update, Java got a new update, 1.18.1. In 1.18.1, fog was changed. On Java 1.18.1, fog renders completely differently. Here I am over on Bedrock Edition, and the fog, it's rendered as a sphere around me. So if I move like up and down, this is going to fade in and out. This is going to fade in and out too. It's like a sphere all around me. Java 1.18, oh boy, completely different. So if I move up and down, the fog all around me is going to stay like that, like basically forever. It won't move until I start moving to the left and right. Eventually, as I move up, the fog on the bottom is going to creep in. This is completely different to the old system. Fog is now rendered as a cylindrical shape instead of a spherical one, at least on Java. Amplified worlds are amazing. They deserve all of the shine, like over 100% of it. However, they're not the only unique world type in the 1.18 update. Java 1.18 has large biome worlds too. Just like the name says, large biome worlds have large biomes. These large biome worlds are great for a slightly more challenging and also more immersive survival experience. Take the biome size and like up it to like 100 and there you go. You basically have a large biome world. It's kind of cool. If you play Bedrock Edition anytime before the 1.18.10 update, it was basically the glory days for the Big Drip Leaf plant. In Bedrock, before 1.18.10, Big Drip Leaf plant can be placed on literally any block at all. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't work like that on Java Edition. On Java, they're limited to things like dirt, things like podzol, grass blocks. Yeah, they're way more limited, basically. But after Bedrock 1.18.10, things will be the same as Java. This makes the Big Drip Leaf community very sad. Another huge part of the 1.18 update was ore generation. Ore generation was completely shaken up. Ore's generated in completely new ranges now. It's nice. You would think that a lot of focus into fixing bugs with this ore generation would happen before the full release of the update, right? I mean, yeah, definitely. Well, that happened, but that doesn't mean that things are always going to be perfect. This next one, absolutely amazing for Bedrock. Diamonds, they're one of the biggest parts of the game. You know, you go into the caves, you look for them. Bedrock 1.18, when it dropped, diamonds were basically everywhere inside of the low caves. Like, there was some kind of bug with the generation. They were just, like, insanely common. A couple days after 1.18 released, 1.18.1 released on Bedrock and fixed that problem. If you played 1.18 on Bedrock those first couple days, you had a huge advantage. Small changes that are, you know, small, like the name says. Small changes that change things. Yeah, big fan, like basically the biggest fan in the world. Java 1.18 changed where effects are shown off, and I love it. It makes so much more sense. It's great. I have a bunch of effects right now. I go into the menu. They're all over here instead of tucked behind this book. It's so nice. I can just see the effects right there. That's Java 1.18. I believe our boy Dinnerbone worked on that one, so big props to him. That's a really big brain solution. Here I am over on Bedrock Edition now. Effect over there in the corner, that's good. And we'll put ourselves in survival to be consistent. I go inside of this menu. The effects aren't shown off in here. I didn't know this was a thing. Like, this is crazy. This like blows my mind. I had no clue this is how it worked on Bedrock. What if you're new to the game? You don't know what these effects mean. You think you have the bubbles effect right now. The bubbles effect, really? The big change here is the effects showing off on the right side of the menu, but I guess it's really just the effects all along. On Bedrock, they're a complete mystery. Finding buried treasure is pretty cool. In 1.18 on Java, it's more rewarding than ever too. Java 1.18, if you were to put in the time, the grind, the hours, the effort, and locate a buried treasure, then you'll be rewarded with a potion of water breathing. That was never there before, and it's still not there on Bedrock. Number 13 is actually a couple different things. On Bedrock 1.18, the raid bar is now red instead of pink. Bedrock 1.18, raid mobs will now despawn if I were to move far enough away, basically give up on the raid and surrender. Also in Bedrock 1.18, the Hero of the Village effect will now apply to all players who help take out raiders during the raid, not just the person who started it. These are all parity updates to make raids be how raids are actually meant to be. Number 14, Java 1.18 technically has the bundle. Bedrock does not. I believe they don't know how to make the bundle actually work over on Bedrock Edition with, you know, like the controls being completely different. I mean, how does a bundle work on a touchscreen? I have no clue, and so don't they. I'm sorry, Bedrock players, it's already a massive, gigantic, wide load of a flex. This thing right here, the F3 screen, it's beautiful. There's so much information. Very useful. Well, Java 1.18 expanded this thing even more. This line right here, the multi-noise line. In my biome breakdown video, I talked all about the multi-noise line. Basically, this multi-noise line has a bunch of useful information when it comes to biome and terrain, including how far you are away from a gigantic body of water, or an ocean. In my opinion, controlling things could be a little bit more tricky on Bedrock Edition. It is for that reason that you would think controls would just be like super streamlined on Bedrock, but yeah, actually surprisingly, these two controls are not over on Bedrock Edition. At least I couldn't find them. Sneak holder toggle option and sprint holder toggle option. Two new options that came to the game in Java 1.18. Enough Java flexes. You're making the Bedrock players sad. Alright, I understand. Well, a Bedrock Flex 1.18, the goat horn. It's going to be inside of that experimental wild update toggle. Is it actually in the wild update or not? We may never know, but it's only on Bedrock for sure in 1.18. Usually an update will add things to the game. You know, that's the point of the update. You update the game, you make it better. There's more cool things. It's great. However, unfortunately, that's not the only thing that an update can do. Java 1.18 lost two big things: the cave world type and the floating island world type. Completely gone, erased, reduced to atoms because of 1.18. It is very sad. Think of it. A young child born 3 minutes ago, they will never know what Minecraft floating islands or Minecraft cave worlds were like. Number 19. Give it up for number 19. Java 1.18. Textures of things. For example, the doors. The doors inside of this thing, they look completely different. For another example, the signs. The signs look completely different. For another example, the item frame. The item frame looks completely different. Java 1.18 came with a ton of texture fixes. These texture fixes are really nice, aesthetically amazing. Bedrock 1.18 did not. Bedrock 1.18.10 will add the texture fixes. However, strangely enough, unless it gets changed, one texture fix that isn't in Bedrock 1.18.10 is this icon right there. Go on Bedrock Edition, look at an enchanting table after the update, and unless it actually ends up getting changed, that's going to look completely different. So, biome names. Biome names are a thing. Like, for example, this right here is going to be a beach. Over here, we're going to have a sunflower plains. Over here, we're going to have a plains. Of course, technically speaking, biome names are a thing on both versions of the game. However, on Java Edition, because of the F3 screen, I would argue that they're a little bit more of a thing. Also, because of the locate biome command, yeah, they're a little bit more of a thing. Java 1.18. A couple new biomes, maybe, like windswept. Nope, I lied. If you saw the biome breakdown video, then you know that this is not new at all. It's just a brand new name. And Java 1.18 comes with a couple new biome names, like windswept savanna. It used to be shattered savanna. Bedrock 1.18, I guess, technically does have these biomes, so maybe the names are there. You count this one if you want, or you don't. But the biome names, Java 1.18. Side note, absurd amount of these strange looking oak trees in this area. Like, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I saw another one on the other side of that mountain. Like, absurd, that's crazy. And finally, last but not least, Java 1.18. In Java 1.18, there was a change to village generation. Villages should now be a little bit more spread out in Java 1.18. However, I have had no problem at all finding villages still in 1.18, so how much were they spread out? I'm really not too sure, can't say. But the changelog for Bedrock 1.18 and the updates that followed it says nothing about this village change. And so, there we go, that does it. 21 1.18 version differences. How many did you know? Do you know of another one? That's going to do it for today's video, and also the very first video of this year's list week. I hope you enjoyed this one. I have a couple really cool lists coming out later this week. Definitely not going to want to miss it, so subscribe. And even more survival episodes are on the way too. Huge thank you to my patrons, Alan N, Andrew H, and Sear the Black Swan. Thank you so much for the support. It's been me, your boy. I will see you in the next one tomorrow. See you tomorrow, everyone. Goodbye.